Namaste everyone, welcome to our weekly Interfaith dialogue. Today we'll make an open discussion on interfaith harmony. Please unmute yourself, open your videos. So first question is, what interfaith meant for you? Who is going first? Can you hear the word interfaith?
I can start.
Yeah, okay.
Interfaith for me really wasn't even thought of until a couple years ago when I started to see the power of the energy in the interfaith gatherings, and then along with that great energy became the realization that it really holds a great promise for uniting people around the world. That there is too much focus on religion and not enough on recognizing that our faith traditions are different, but that we're all kind of aligned and in agreement on most of the principles of the wisdom of each one of the religions. So I look at interfaith as being an important next step for the world to acknowledge each other and to celebrate each other's differences, but also focus on the similarities. And it's been great to learn about so many different religions and learn about the interfaith nature and even the interfaith origins of many of the religions. I see Kirpalji on here. So that's what it means to me, and it's really been an inspiration over the last couple of years.
Well, hello, this is Kirpal Singh. I totally agree with Peter regarding this. There are more common grounds with us than there are differences, and those differences are really to celebrate each other's uniqueness. The interfaith helps us to recognize that we come from the one source and we go back to the same source, and the whole, call it recycling, call it whatever, recreation of it continues. It's a kind of perpetual process. And the time which we are allotted, which we can use to help each other, facilitate each other the fullest potential, I think that's why we're here on the earth. Not only enjoy ourselves' lives, but also help each other. Because as children of the same creator from the same source, we are really, call it cousins, call it brothers and sisters, call it whatever way you want to call, we are really one. And that realization of oneness comes from this interfaith dialogue. It doesn't come from turning away from each other. So the more courtesies and humility and more collaboration is the wonderful benefit from this interfaith dialogues. Thank you.
You're muted, Guruji.
We have a guest join from Japan, Venerable Ravi Mandagaji. Last year, same time he was with me in Kerala. Hanji, can you hear?
Yeah. After 1 year, we are on the same platform.
This is the question for today. If you hear the word interfaith, what things will come in your mind? What do you explain about interfaith?
Faith is, the simple translation, you can do that to believe. And so the faith, to believe on anything, whatever you think. In Buddha, but in Buddhism, they say don't believe anything unless you test it and you get your answer. Because he gives the theory of Panchashil, then he gives the eightfold path and many teachings he gave. But he tells that you test those things, and if it is good for you, good for your society, then you accept it. Otherwise, don't carry my words on your shoulder like we carry the dead body and put them in the graveyard. So the faith is that you should not have a blind faith like that. Okay, Guruji is telling this is correct. So I have to see that Guruji is telling correct and it is good. So I have a faith in you. And that is the very simple way of explaining the faith.
Great.
So, yeah,
And
I mean, just a simple thing. Yeah.
yeah. What about you, Dr. Remy Alipo?
Thank you. Namaste, everybody. Um, I think interfaith is the belief, the commonality of how we actually believe in something. So it doesn't have to be religion. It could be what is present in our environment. It could be something that, makes us go about our day. That, every morning we see the sun and we believe that we're going to have a good day. So there's a commonality as well as differences in the way that we actually approach this belief based on on our culture. It could be based on, a system that is rooted in the community of how we're supposed to act or behave. Anything that makes us have this awareness of what is available, how we strive, what drives us. And if we have interfaith sharing with others, who may have the same type of belief system or acceptance of knowing of what is present in their environment and how they can carry on their day-to-day activity. Unfortunately, when we start thinking of interfaith or interreligious dialogue, many people base it on politics. Politics comes first. Politics is divisive. It divides, many people. So even in this forum, sometimes we may look at one person and think, oh, I may be better than them, or their religion doesn't have what I have, but what mine has rather. So, but when we stop thinking the realm of politics or religion and is spiritual, the belief, being free, trust other people, believe in them that they're capable, they're equal, then will not have the division that we have. So interfaith, to sum it up, would be believing, the knowing, the acceptance and understanding of the environment and other people.
We have another member from the Unification Church. He is a close friend of Dr. Frank Kaufman. He's in Ohio. His name is Chris B. Harry. Okay. Namaste,
Hi.
Chris. Please share your words.
I was very, very wonderful to hear the doctor speaking as she talked about the light, and the light that was shining from through the window behind her was such an illumination. It was very much of a proclamation of the cosmos to her words of truth. And all those speaking this morning, it is so deep to me, and being involved with UPF for the last 10 years and traveling around the world and having world brothers and sisters, that I have come to know a much deeper relationship with the different religions and interreligion study that I have been myself on, and seeing the many aspects of religious teachings and practices. And like the previous speaker, the doctor, she spoke on how important it is that we as brothers and sisters in this cosmic family, so to say, are really becoming much more worldly connected because of the problems now in the world, that we are really growing and developing such a strong unity that is really, I see, as going into a new age for all of mankind. And it really makes me deeply happy and deeply moving that we can be together from so many different aspects and different varieties of peoples. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful to hear from you. Gabriel Martinez, please unmute yourself and start your video.
Namaste. Yeah, interfaith for me is that we're coming together. Basically, it's indicates one common root. So everyone, despite their upbringing, their beliefs, we can come together in one house and share, and under one roof, we could come together for one common cause, despite any differences. And actually, in my experience, it's not always easy, but it can actually accentuate the differences in a positive way, so that we could appreciate each other's uniqueness and gain perspectives that we can't, that we don't have available to us within our limited systems, because it's not receiving that perspective from that light, that direction of life experiences that another culture has embraced. So it gives a full view of the world, and it can actually bring us together. And I've seen it actually happen. It's not always a comfortable environment when people are disagreeing or when there's tension, but that tension is seemingly inherent anyways. So that creates a common platform for people to come together and address those differences with under the right circumstances, and to give a very positive outcome. It has that potential.
It seems like there's a journey from interfaith to inner faith, and inner faith to interfaith. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So there's no limitation for traveling in the spirituality, right? So how we promote this one? What are the challenges in this field? That's another question.
I think some of the challenges that we may have in promoting interfaith is lack of tolerance or understanding. Of course, because of our innate beliefs, or it may be some of the type of environment that we're accustomed to, or the types of people. Every human being has some sort of partiality in them. So if you don't have partiality, even if you don't voice it out or act it out, it would not be normal. So sometimes, of course, we have differing views, differing opinions, based on our customs and traditions. The way we carry out about our day-to-day activities are very different. There are customs and practices that many people grew up with that, they may feel it's very strange when they see other people not doing the same thing, or acting or speaking or expressing themselves differently. So already everyone comes with a culture of partiality, but how to make sure that we don't voice it out or act it out violently, creating conflict, is the most important thing. So to be able to compose oneself, so that you don't lash out when things don't seem to go your way based on what you believe or what you think or how you think things should be. So I think the way to actually maybe resolve that is to continue to learn about other people or other faiths or traditions, learn about other cultures, be open, be flexible, have respect, very crucial. If you don't have respect, you cannot have tolerance, because automatically when you have the respect for the self and respect for others, you will learn to know or understand them. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I like to share some ideas with the way we have been doing. My wife is Presbyterian and I'm a Sikh. You know, there are more common grounds than there are differences. One thing we do is, people like bar hopping, we like church hopping. Go different places, different times, and enjoy and see the atmosphere, what it is. It's really very fascinating and gives a lot of new experiences to think about. And some of the things we pick up, we then practice not only at home, but we also encourage our friends to do it. Second thing which we enjoy doing is what they call going to fundraisers. Different churches, especially in Midwest, you know, they had fundraisers and they'll get together, picnics, and so we'll take time to go and participate in those. And that gave us the chances to interact and learn more about others, as well as tell them who we are and what we are and how, you know, the life is all about as we view it. Then third thing which we did was we encouraged, especially when it came to Sikhism, it's very little known in the family of the world religions, and I will offer volunteer services to some of these churches we went to. That if whenever you're doing a class on world religions, let me know. I'll be glad to participate or do a PowerPoint for you. So these are some of the things which we did, and they were very enjoyable and rewarding for us. Thank you.
Those were good. I like engaging with the youth. I like talking with youth who are not very knowledgeable about other religions, and kind of highlighting the similarities in a way that resonates. You know, I find that in my work with especially youth in Africa, there is a great desire to overcome religious violence, and they generally are very receptive to messages that can help bridge gaps. And as younger people with a lot of self-motivated energy, they take on very well all of the notions of the similarities, all of the discussions on how conversations might be broached, the importance of what Kirpalji just said, you know, teaching and being available to share the different faith traditions around the world. So I think the engagement at a youngest possible age in some of these types of discussions is what I enjoy the most. It makes them think, and then they take that knowledge and they take that discussion and that wisdom and they propagate it.
Right.
Yes.
Reviji. Like to share something?
Have to share many things, but yes. This is a very nice platform you have created, and I'm very happy because last time we meet and after that it became just a pandemic system.
Right.
Otherwise, we had a lot of program to go with you and interchange and exchange. And recently we got another Korean group. They are also very much interested in the world peace, and they are sometimes inviting me at least once in a month to talk about what is the Buddhism tells about different questions. They are doing also a very nice platform, and they also have not done anything big activity this year, because normally they have a world peace meeting in the Korea, and they invite from all over the world and discuss about the world religion and the world faith and about different subjects. Every month they have the different subjects, and that's a good one. And a number of participants coming from different faiths, same like Guruji's idea. So it's a very nice thing, so that the people of the world come across and know about each other's faith and about each other's contribution in the society. So we give a platform where we can live in a harmony and a peace And that's a great, I mean, contribution of yours also. And some of the groups like yours is doing in the same field. So we think in future, more and more people should collaborate, and we should give hand to you, and you should give hand to other association to make a peaceful and harmonious world. That's all, sir. Questions. They are doing also a very nice platform to you, and you should give hand to other association to make a peaceful and harmonious world. That's all, sir. Questions. They are doing also a very nice platform to you, and you should give hand to other association to.
That's good. Anything from Chris?
Uh, yes, I'm discombobulated with my hands and my mind. But even in my own hometown, it used to be for the last 25 years to celebrate and let people understand what UPF is and what also the interfaith programs and how to develop an understanding and a compassion towards other people. And now, like you're saying, now is a time with these internet programs and these internet communities that there is really becoming a much unified world in heart where people can, if they want to, they can seek out and really find information. It just doesn't always just come by on the wind, but now it's right there with them, sharing with them. And then also the interreligious and international marriages that are happening more and more. It is becoming a much more reality in our lives and in the lives of the next generation, of how things can become more and more integrated into a life of understanding. Whereas even though it may seem that this world has so many problems and difficulties, those things have always existed. But now I feel that there is much more closer international, intercultural relationship going on that is really making for world peace. And it is really on the horizon. And all these problems are like the nightmare of nighttime with the rising of the sun on a new age. And this, I feel, great hope and expectation.
Okay. Now we have Reverend Susan Namakong. Please open your video.
Namaste.
Namaste. We have a question. What are the challenges to promote interfaith? So each person,
What are the challenges?
yeah.
It's a good question. I think, for one, to let go of the need to be right. You know, I think in every religion, there are people who really believe this is the only way to salvation, right? This is the only way to God. So we have to, so they look down sometimes on people who don't think this way, or they're fearful that if they embrace people who do not think like they think, then they will go to hell or be in the group that is not going to be saved. So I think the first thing is to let go of the need to be right, to be able to say with respect and love, this is what's right for me. This is what I believe. This is what I hold sacred, and that's okay. But I understand this is not what you believe, and that is okay. So I always say the basis is respect. If you don't start with respect of one another, you can't even build a bridge, right? What do you think? What does the group think?
Yeah, Reverend Susanna, I mentioned the same thing right before you came in, that the most important is respect, because once you have respect, you automatically have a sense of knowing, of or understanding, or tolerating. So if there's no respect, then you blind yourselves, you're unconscious about all of these things that you should accord the other person. So respect is very important.
Yes, Dr. Remy. I mean, I counsel a lot of interfaith families. And I remember one family that was really at odds with each other. I mean, oh my goodness, they were like this. And she said afterwards, after we worked things out, that the one thing that stood in her mind, the mother, the word respect, what she said, that they realized they were not respecting the other person, their beliefs, that other family's beliefs. So respect is the foundation of interfaith dialogue. Without respect, we can't even go to the next level.
Right.
And the next level, the highest level is what? Love.
Correct.
Communion. Not only do you, when you start really opening yourself to other religions, I was talking to John Mundy about this. I said, don't you think that, like, when I learn about Sikhism and I learn about Judaism and Islam and Hinduism, if you really approach it with an open heart and open mind, you know what happens? You fall in love with the other traditions and and it's the same thing with people, right? Right, Dr. Singh? I may not know you.
No,
Right?
exactly.
I may not know you.
No,
Even maybe someone's afraid of your turban or your beard at the
You're
beginning, right?
Yeah, you're
But they get to know you from the heart.
Mhm.
They see with the eyes of the heart. Now everything melts away, the boundaries, and we're spirit to spirit, soul to soul, human to human.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Suzanne. That's a wonderful message, and so is from others. From my own children, when I raised my children, I usually lived in small communities, in the Midwest. I always had them participate, like Easter egg hunt, go and sing the Christmas carols and participate in other local community activities and church picnics and all that. What that happened was opened their mind to different things as they grew up, as well as I taught them Sikhism at home. And then also, and we invited their friends and they going to their homes and talking about cultural as well as culinary and spiritual matters. So it made us deeper friendship. Not idea was not to convert to each other, but the idea was to learn about different traditions and then falling in love,
Right.
with all those new ideas and seeing the world as a larger one big community and accepting unity lies through acceptance of diversity rather than sameness. Look at the garden, different kind of flowers and all blooming and making it so pleasant. But if it's only oneness, then it leads to stagnation, actually,
Yeah.
As that's why John Keating said, one of the poets, variety is the spice of life. And same as it applies to religions. Thank you.
Gabriel.
You're welcome.
Yes, I want to say that I agree with Remy. Lashing out is not the way. but we should find the time and courage to acknowledge any indifference within us. We should find the time and courage to acknowledge any indifference within us, as is part of one's conditioned thought process. When I grew up with friends who were rebellious, who were angry, who didn't have patience, who were from unloving families. And it's very difficult to expect them to show respect because they're conditioned to not have respect. So it's very challenging when you want somebody to have respect and they don't have it at that stage. What I've learned from being around Guruji is patience and humility is very important because it takes time sometimes to develop oneself. I believe that we should find a mentor, a guide, an educated friend to voice out our confusion so that we could actually discover the resolution, or so that the resolution can be somehow done. Otherwise, people may just end up suppressing their feelings in order to placate and satisfy people around them superficially, but not really looking for fulfillment within. So over time, suppressing can actually cause more harm to oneself. So we should go through a spiritual process of discovering ourselves with humility, with patience, with someone who really loves us, and we have to be willing to open ourselves up to that love. We have to be willing to do whatever work is necessary. This is, in my opinion, to be able to discover our true inner voice, which, as you all pointed out, it's connected with the heart. It has nothing to do with the mind, with the thought process, with expectations or demands or desire. It's all about, like St. Francis said, I want to love, not be loved. I want to, it's a freedom that comes with it. So ultimately, the interfaith, any obstacle would be anything compartmentalizing, separating, segregating into different formats, different systems, which exclude. It really the key to interfaith is inclusion rather than exclusion. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So,
Very nice.
Right.
see, last 14 days, we did different types of interfaith movements, even silent meditation to a festival and a partnership events. What did you learn or what did you observe? Good things, and what do we things we had to make changes in these events? Because we are not doing these events not just for fun, because we want to make sure everybody is getting the message, even 1%. It won't go 100% to a person. It will take a long way to go. But we had to think each step what we are doing. Are we harming people? Are we harming any groups? Are we serving properly? That's my question.
Each time we have such events, whether it's by World Yoga Community or other civil society, I think people learned already to put differences aside because they're there for a purpose. They want to make a difference. They want the message of unity to go out. They want to be the embodiment of such teaching, so that it can be reflected, like their work or deeds can be seen and other people can emulate. Each time that I attend these events, it's not because, I want to be on the screen or, showcase myself or something like that. But for my ministry and for the people that, I affiliate with, I want them to see that, wow, you can be different and also come together. You can believe in whatever you believe in. You can practice any tradition or faith, but still be able to have a conversation or dialogue with others who are different from you. You have to put that differences, whatever differences you have or whatever you've, believed about other people or read or seen in the media, previously, be the change that you want to see. And I've stepped up to that challenge to actually engage with others who are different from me, regardless of whatever I've learned before or see or what the media portrays. And I think when we have such events is to foster some sort of understanding. It may not be overnight. Of course, there's certain activities or movements that have been in place for a long time, but it's gonna take a while to get to each and every person. But in this world, you cannot, there's a saying that Rome was not built in a day. It took years to build Rome. So it's gonna take a while, but we've started with the first step, which is coming together, one family under God, regardless of our race, our gender, our belief, the faith, the practice, our teachings, how we grew up, our customs, traditions, and still be able to have a discussion, a conversation, so that we can, influence others. Others will see this. I mean, remember Guruji, each time you introduce me when we have events, either I start with a story or you start with a story of how, at 43rd, we had interfaith activity, and it used to be one or two people. And little by little, people started getting interested because it was new. And even if it were not new, the fact that so many people who are diverse together and for a small group discussion, it started evolving from there. So that's how little drops of water can make a mighty ocean. Thank you.
Great, great. So you are saying everything should be coming together under one God.
Well, I mean, there are some people who don't believe in God, but we're one human body or one human family in the universe.
Right.
So whether you believe in a supreme God or you believe in the universality of a supreme being or something higher than you, but we have commonality that we're humans and we can communicate. After all, we're not animals. Even animals find a way to communicate. If you look at sheep, a sheep always follow in the same direction all the time of the leader. Yeah. If you look at geese, when they're flying, they also follow the leader. So I believe, they're communicating without us probably knowing how they communicate, but at least we can verbalize to one another and be together in the same, room or in the same Zoom meeting and be able to share ideas. I mean, we're not wasting our time since this interfaith group has started for every Wednesday interfaith discussion. Obviously, there's something that is driving us or dragging us to want to participate. So if it's something that is not useful or beneficial, I don't think you're gonna see us committed to such an activity or a program.
Yeah. So that means in the deeper sense, we act with the godliness. We are not going to look towards a God from the space. We bring the godliness to us in each action. That's a teaching of Jesus. I am and the Father are the one. Right?
He did his job.
Correct.
It's for us to now follow. There's a way, there's a path that has been paved. And for those who want to make a change or difference, those who want to serve humanity, love mankind, to follow that path to unity, to love, to appreciation, to respect.
Right. Well, there's a problem with the people. A lot of time they learn religious teachings and they pretend they are spiritual instead of they are being a divine being.
They're religious, but not spiritual, actually.
Our job is promoting the spirituality from all the sense of the teaching from all the traditions.
Yes.
Guruji, there's a saying that if you shine the light, the shadows decrease, right?
Right.
So what I think you do is shine the light on the beauty of interfaith harmony, interfaith, dialogue, interfaith, the diversity in oneness. So you shine the light, and some of us here, we're very used to it, and we embrace it fully. But there are people who that's uncommon. They look at your events and go, "Oh my goodness, a Muslim and a Hindu together, praying together. Oh my goodness."
Well, I found that events, I couldn't attend, all of them, but I attended few of them. I found them very fascinating. And I thought they were very joyful, meaningful, and all-encompassing. And here I also want to take a moment to thank Reverend Susanna for lighting the candle for Sikhism when the menorah was lighted. Thank you again very much for that.
Yeah, each event was different in our past 2 weeks. So some are partnership events like Remy and Wali support us for the African event. So we put more African tradition in that event. And we had the seminary events more with the seminary people. And the South American event more with the South American people from different traditions. And the group from Europe is totally different. And we went to India, they have their own style. So we mix all of this. And we had the final one with all the different groups. That's the way we developed. So overall, over 50,000 people watched within 2 weeks. Over 3,000 people were in our event. Over 150 speakers in our event. That's a good thing I felt it. And we never reject any of the traditions we put it.
Yeah, they were all very fascinating, but I want to mention over here also another, Mecca Primavera, I think that's her last name, Japanese girl. Their events for me were the first time, and I enjoyed that very much too. And I hope we can invite her and other people.
They'll come back again because they performed in New York City last year. So they asked me to give an opening session for them, but I was not able to. And then I wrote to them. Then I said, I'll add you guys for our event. And yesterday I met one young girl. She's playing music from Himachal Pradesh. She's playing the violin. So I asked her to get more details. So I just look for talented people in different countries, and we'll bring those people to our platform, because that way they will develop themselves. And I was talking to our youth representative to the UN. I asked her to put a program for the Women's Day, International Day. So we'll plan it. Most probably a panel discussion. So she's elected to the UN Global Communication Youth Committee. So she may be the host. So let's see how it will work out.
Guruji, I would say that, I would echo everything I've heard. All those events were different, but wonderful in their own right. And kind of along the lines of the geese and the sheep, they all share a common understanding amongst them, however they do it, of a common purpose, whether it's to migrate or not get picked off or whatever it is. That would be one of the possible suggestions for going forward. We all gather together for the same purposes, and we benefit in similar ways, learning different ways to say the same thing, learning a story that we carry with us to different tellings. And if we review some of those reasons why we're getting together early in the program, we're here to foster understanding, to reinforce certain principles, to educate, and just kind of have a reminder of an alignment, if you will, of why we're all together. That might be a common thread that could cross all of those meetings as well. and make us more consciously competent.
Guruji, I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
I don't know if everybody would agree with me, but it's something I do in my own small way, but you could do in a global way, is maybe a panel discussion featuring one religion at a time, addressing the common misconceptions of that religion. For example, you know, so many of the misconceptions are rooted in fear and ignorance, right? By ignorance, I don't mean to put anybody down, but lack of knowledge, right? People see women in a hijab, for example. A lot of Americans get very afraid, you know, oh my goodness, they're covering her. Oh my goodness, they're enslaving her, you know, like, so talk about it, you know, so much fear is dispelled with just simple listen and talk, understanding, knowledge. Or Hinduism, Guruji, you know how many out here Muslims say, oh my goodness, they have like 3,000 gods. What, you know, what's, let's say all these misconceptions, and I'll say, no, they're manifestations of one God, one cosmic consciousness, Brahman, you know, that's education. That, I think, on a global scale would help, you know, interfaith understanding and reduce fear. I don't know. Does anybody agree?
Yeah, I concur with that. I agree. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
We have that plan. That's why I asked Mohammed to put a program, but somehow he cannot. Last week, you know, I said, ask him to bring all the Asians and the Muslims together.
Yeah.
And he was not capable to do that.
But if we feature, you know, like one religion at a time, really addressing the misconceptions, and believe me, like, for example, Dr. Singh knows the misconceptions of Sikhism. He knows them. He can address them. You know?
Even
We know
I
the
remember
misconceptions of
when I had
Christianity.
my mustache and beard. That was only
Exactly.
once in my lifetime. You know, how much
Exactly.
trouble people gave me. In India, they love it. Here, what is going on with this guy? You know, I saw Acharya Abhiramananda here. Acharya Abhiramananda.
You know, the building which I live here in Florida, it's a condominium. When I wash my hair and dry, I put it behind. They call me, oh, you're Maharishi Yogi.
Unmute yourself, Abhiramananda.
Yeah, namaskar, everybody.
Namaste.
Yeah,
How's everything
good to
going?
see you. You all. Good.
So we were discussing about the last 2 weeks interfaith events.
Yeah, good.
You guys had any interfaith events last week? Or?
What are your questions? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Did you make any interfaith events last week?
Yeah, I've been watching 2-3
Watching.
days. Yeah, 2-3 events I have been there and went through this and watched. It's very good event. Yeah. So that's very good work you have done last week, on the 1st February to 7th February. That I appreciate and recognize your sincere effort. And all the, yeah.
Last Sunday's even reached to more than 3,300 people online. And in seminaries, even 4,400, over 4,400 people online. And
Great.
over 100 people in and out in the meeting.
Wonderful. We worked hard on promoting that.
Oh yeah, that is kudos to everybody. So, and yesterday night I did the live streaming for the chapel, you know, UN Church Center. We tried to air it, but somehow the link is not allowing us to stream it. Then I put the recording, and night I stream it. It's already 900 people, 1,000, yeah, over 1,000 people. Sorry. And last Sunday's even we lost the recording, and somebody was entering inside the system.
They were hacking.
Not hacking. Some mistake happened because I had three people co-host, and when I had problem with my computer, my laptop was near the Windows side, so I thought I can take control from that computer. When I went there, it's already dead because of the snow outside. Battery died very fast. We had like over 5 hours. Battery can hold only 2 hours. Then
Co-host can also record, no?
eh?
Co-host also can record.
No, co-host. I'm recording from main computer, right?
Oh, I see.
So once you are recording, other people cannot record.
I see. I see.
Right. So if I had my laptop in control, then I can come back to the system and I can take over. Now I had to restream it, record the streaming, and repost it. I'm trying because I had to babysit for 5 hours. 5 hours get very hard. So let us see. And
The streaming record you have.
good. Event was really good.
Yes.
Guruji, you outdid yourself.
Right.
I mean, think about all the events he's done before and how he has expanded and taking the using COVID and technology to the greatest opportunity. Actually, you've made it a blessing actually to reach many more people.
Right. The part is I can reconnect with my old friends,
Right.
from other parts of the world. That's the best part. And I had so many interfaith events.
You did. You would have one event, and then people would come in and saying they're ready for the next event, and I'm like, "So you're going to another event after 4 hours? You go to another event?"
Yeah, we did on Sunday. We had another event.
It end up in the midnight. That's a big thing.
He came in with some good energy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Pete, I have to make comments. Your peace lights on all these events, your peace lights have been every single one. I just look at them like I'm looking at them right now, and I instantly feel peace. It's like a meditation. They're just so beautiful, and they're part of every event.
A lot of people are picking up on that, especially in Africa. It's really nice to see the number of. We're going to have another video coming out here pretty soon, and it's going to even be more people than was in the Gesture of Peace video. So it's really serving a purpose to promote education and to promote understanding, and even support. I'm finding it interesting, the support aspect of the peace lights, to support individuals when they're in need, when they're not feeling connected, to know that other people are out there, and even though they're not maybe physically connected with other ones, that others are out there just by seeing or even thinking about the lights. So,
and I love how they flow, because it's just the flow of light, and we all
like
flow,
curtain,
right? We're all part of the river of life, all different hues and colors, and we're just flowing.
Right.
You should hold a meditation event with the peace lights and create like a YouTube video, so you can send that out, whenever there are events. You have the meditation, at least something to guide along, just looking at the lights, some sort of maybe synchronized activity,
Well, we're planning a big Zoom on the 21st of the month to country coordinators, sub-coordinators, and people who are interested in Project Peace Lights. And one of the things I've been thinking about is, and Remy, we've been talking about this, having an opening prayer as well, and maybe even having that be an opening meditation for a minute, and just play peace lights at the beginning to help calibrate everybody, put the mind down into the heart, and just be ready for what we're going to throw at them for the next hour or two. So, thank you.
Anything else? So I'm talking to one of my friend from Delhi. He's planning something in events in Delhi. So I didn't give the final answer. He wanted me to fly tomorrow. I said no. I had to finish some more work before moving, you know. So
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we all met in India?
yeah, we'll make the plan because we have different organizations. They have place to stay and they have nice vegetarian food. Yeah, and you can eat non-vegetarian outside the place, no problem. And we had to plan very well, you know. At least if we plan 3 months ahead, then they can set up according to their schedule. You know, they have different ashrams in different places. It's not a big deal. And that is one of the project we have. Then I had to finish my project in Kerala. We have 8 acres land there. We start the new building. We didn't finish it. Everything pending now. I had to fundraise it, finish that part, so people can go and stay there. It's near the mountains. We have a river and all that. Beautiful place. See the sunrise in the morning. You hear the bird sounds. There's a bird sanctuary next to it. The dam and all this stuff. It's beautiful. And let us see. So I'll go to one of the philosophy from Hinduism, even though that is from the Hinduism. Some people don't like to go to the deeper sense of oneness. This is made by Adi Shankaracharya. He's from my hometown. Actually, my father's side, some people know that's from the Nambooതിരി families. They all are from same family. When Saint Thomas came to India, he converted 12 Brahmin families, Nambooതിris. That is one my father's side. And one of my master is from that family too. Swami Bua was very fond of Adi Shankara. We don't know the exact time when he was alive. We know closer to Jesus' time, either earlier or just after. That's the observation we have. Adi Shankaracharya was an Indian philosopher and theologian who consolidated the doctrine of Advaita Vedanta. He is credited with unifying and establishing the main currents of thoughts in Hinduism. His work in Sanskrit discussed the unity of the Atman and Nirguna Brahman, Brahman without attributes. He wrote copious commentaries on the Vedic canon, that means Brahma Sutras, Principal Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita, in support of his thesis. His works elaborate on ideas found in the Upanishads. Shankara's publications criticize the ritually oriented Mimamsa school of Hinduism. He also explained the key difference between Hinduism and Buddhism, stating that Hinduism asserts Atman, means soul, exists, while Buddhism asserts that there is no soul, no self. Shankara traveled across the Indian subcontinent to propagate his philosophy through discourses and debates with other thinkers. He established the importance of monastic life as sanctioned in the Upanishads and Brahma Sutra in a time with the Mimamsa school established strict ritualism and ridiculed monasticism. He is reputed to have founded 4 mutts or monasteries, which helped in the historical development, revival, and spread of Advaita Vedanta, of which he is known as the greatest revivalist. Adi Shankara is believed to be the organizer of the Dashamani monastic order and unified the Shandmata tradition of worship. He is more with the Shaivite style and the Devi style. So Devi style is a female goddess. He was into it. And same time he used to follow Shiva. And he compiled all the philosophies in one song, right up. 6 stanzas are there, called Nirvana Shatakam. This is the way it will go. Just listen to it. मनोबुद्धिहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न ज स्तोत्रजिह्वे न ज घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोश न वाक्पाणिपादं न जोपस्तपायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न मे द्वेषरागो न मे लोभमोहो मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्तो न कामो न मोक्ष चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्द्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञा अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न मे मृत्युशङ्का न मे जातिभेद पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुनैव शिष्य चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वा च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न च सङ्गडं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेयं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. The translation is, I am not mind, intelligence, ego and thought. I am not ears or tongue or nose or eyes. I am not sky or earth or light or air. I am the Shiva, the supreme happiness with the pure consciousness and all auspiciousness, the divine absolute bliss. I am not energy, nor five airs, nor the seven essential material elements, nor the five sheaths. I am not the organ for speech or movements or procreation or excretion. I have no pride, nor feeling of competition. I have no enmity or friendship. I have no duty or desire or wealth or pleasure nor liberation. I have neither good deeds or sins nor pleasure or sorrow. I do not need holy chants or water or holy scriptures or rituals. I am neither food nor the consumer who consumes food. I do not have death or fear of death or distinction of caste. I do not have either father or mother or even birth. I do not have relatives or friends or teachers or students. I am one without doubts. I am formless. I exist everywhere and pervade all senses. Always I am the same, neither free nor bounded. I am the Shiva, the supreme happiness with the pure consciousness and all auspiciousness, the divine absolute bliss. This is the meaning.
That was glorious.
I didn't see any religious dogma there. It's a pure philosophy about the life. He concluded all the Vedas and Upanishads in one format, in 6 stanzas. That's the way he made it. So you can look any scriptures around the world, you never get a write-up like this. That is beyond any religion or a culture. It's just talking about the universal way of how we have to think. That's the way he wrote it.
Guruji, I'm going to text you because I want a copy of that to read at prayer services. It's glorious.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting because before you even said the words, I think so many people, when we pray, they get caught up here. But if you go into a temple, a Hindu temple, and there's in Sanskrit, and you don't understand even a word, but if you attune to the spirit, to the devotion, the same thing if you go into a church or a mosque or a Shinto temple, you will feel it. You will be transcended. I think I told you, Guruji, the first time I heard the Gayatri mantra, I didn't know what it meant, the incredible symbolism, the words, but I burst into tears from the vibration. Somehow I attuned to its holiness, and we can all do that. It's what your peace lights do too. It's attuning to the spirit. That was glorious.
Satsangs at 43rd used to have 108 times Gayatri mantra, and people get tired. It will go like 30 to 40 minutes chanting. People get tired. But after a few times, this is not a big problem. They learn it. And the vibration is different because they did a test with the electronic machines, and they found the energy level will increase when you do the chant. The same thing with the Om. It's a universal sound. It's not a religious sound. It's a universal sound. So when the particles, light is moving around from sun to earth, Om will create from that sound, from the light. The circling of the earth, the sound is Om. Every single particle moving from one state to another, it will create the sound. That is Om. But when people hear, we don't want to deal with this Hinduism. It's not about Hinduism.
But they're here.
Correct.
They're here.
Like
They're not
I
here.
tell people, Jesus not meant for Christians. Jesus for people.
It's fear.
Buddha for the people. Nanak for people, not for the religion. Religion made by the people, but masters never made any religion.
So Guruji, I hear you say that the energy is measured as higher during the chanting. Maybe it's the engineer in me, but what technical thing is being measured, and by what means?
They have the machine to analyze the frequency, how it affects in our brain cells.
God calling.
One of my classmates from India. So that frequency, they check all the mantras from Hindu tradition. This is the highest frequency, that's Gayatri mantra.
So this is you're actually measuring brain waves is what you were talking about then.
Yeah, they can check anything. If they want to go to the skin, it will affect on the skin.
Okay.
Like if you take water and put in a bowl and you do the mantras, right? After a certain time, just continuously you're doing. You take this water and the regular water, put it under the microscope. You can see the difference of this mantra chanted water and the regular water are different.
Do you know people who have done that? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you
In
just
Japan.
search you.
It would be an interesting experiment to take water and just put it in front of peace lights and try a
Yeah.
similar experiment.
Yeah, you can do that.
Would be interested in
There's
trying.
a book. There is a book. I forgot who it is. It's a beautiful book. It's Japanese, where an entire book where they took water that, around Nagasaki and Hiroshima, where, it was really polluted water. And then people would pray over it over and over again. And it showed the before and after under the microscope. That's the whole book. It will blow you away.
Correct.
It will blow you away.
So like in India, people just talk about water from river Ganges, Ganga. A lot of time people make fun of it, right? Actually, the ionization happen when water is falling from the mountain. It is hit on the rock and multiplying, like a homeo medicine, right? So multiplies the power. Not only Ganges water, any river water is special. Same thing with the water drops coming from the tree in the morning, right? There's a high energy in that water. Early morning water drops will come from the leaves, high energy in it. The rays from the early morning from the sun, high energy in it. Evening also same. Yeah. The nature has the way to do things, but a lot of time when we put the religious dogma, we go away from the natural way of lifestyle. You just think about it. As one example, I was talking about when I had a beard and mustache, people had a trouble towards me. Actually, a man supposed to have a beard and mustache. That's the way creation it is.
That's the one belief we have, keeping our long hair and beard and mustaches, and that's the way God created us.
And if you cut the mustache of a cat, do you know how it will react? You never experienced, right?
No.
Cat will lose the coordination with the nature, jump around, lose the peaceful nature, became very aggressive. They don't know how to go. They lose the path. They don't know what happened. They get really mad.
So the whiskers help in direction, I guess, for them.
Actually, hair is
antenna.
antenna. Actually,
Right,
hair is an antenna for a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's a female or male.
Yes.
That's the way. So people may ask me, so why you are shaving your hair?
Well, it's easier, I would think, in some level.
For me, it's easy. I can move around easy. My shower will be within 5 minutes. I don't have to put any oil or anything. I just skin it.
That's why nuns used to shave their heads for the same reason. They said it was easy.
Correct.
What of you peace lights? I mean, you and Guruji have the same hairstyle, I guess. Or
it's been
permanent hairstyle
for me. 18
He's a
years.
monk. 2 months.
Yeah. But for us and the Sikhism, the significance of keeping long hair is not only the way God created us, but also to remind that you need to live naturally as much as possible. Some people ask, then why do you cut your nails? Well, the reason why the nails are causing obstruction for me, and they become dangerous because of the dirt underneath and all that. But the dead hair, when you comb them, they just go away. They're not there anymore. But the whole idea is not really, the whole idea is to come to terms with the nature. And that's what we call hukam, the divine will. That divine knows the best. Whatever the way he created, will continue to do it unless it becomes abnormal and pathological. That's the same reason why we don't practice circumcision among us.
No,
Just different ways people adopt different philosophies.
even hijab started from the wind, like a soil wind.
Right. It's not, there's nowhere in the Quran that says a woman has to wear hijab. It is completely cultural. It just says a woman should be modest.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, in the desert, they had terrible, sandstorms.
I remember when I was in Egypt, we had a big sandstorm. First time in my life, I was facing the sandstorm. Within 10 minutes, my skin started bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
Yeah. I had that experience in the Middle East too.
So actually, what we wear, what we look is totally different. We can wear, or we don't have to wear anything. We are not wearing anything, we are in natural state. But in the society, we created the structure, so we don't want to go against the social structure.
Yeah.
So that is point. Like I wear dhoti or pants or shorts. I won't get. I tell my friends I'm the only one wear shorts and t-shirt at the UN. No one else wear.
The other good example is Mexicans. Look at their hat. That's when they work in the fields and all other, and the production from the sun.
For the sun.
So, yeah, for the sun. So different communities, depending on where you live, they adopt different kind of cultural situations as a part of their existence and safety.
But I would also add that, especially in the West, but not just in the West, in India and in Asia too, one of the incredible crisis we have in the world right now is we've come so far from nature that we're damaging nature. We're damaging ourselves. We're killing the earth by polluting water and earth and air. Why is cancer 50% of people in the West? Why?
Because the meat and the pollution.
Yes.
And they don't have proper water. Water
Right.
is so bad here.
Right, it's true. Well, that's not, Guruji, if you go to New Hampshire, actually,
they have
the water's wonderful.
Correct.
It's like, this is what water's supposed to taste like.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've had pure water, this water, like in New York, tastes terrible.
It is.
Yeah, then the greed comes in the way. Like we had green revolution in India to help increase the products. But then what happened was people became so greedy, they started, instead of having crop rotation or having twice a year the crop, they started having 3-4 times, adding more pesticide. The water level went down, and the cancerous situation became more common because of the excessive use of pesticides. And so all those kind of things, the God provides us all these inventions and gifts to better our life. But by not properly using them, what we do is create more misery.
And in the United States, there's an insanity in that if you want to have pure products from the farmer's market without chemicals, it costs twice as much.
Yeah.
In other words, to pay for, we have to pay twice as much for it to be grown the way it should be grown, naturally, without chemicals.
Correct. No, it is possible. I use only natural fertilizers from the plants, or cow dung. You see, papayas like this big.
Yes, it's better.
Because so big, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I let our neighbors to bring the cattle, to just eat our grass and everything. So they'll do the feces and the urine there. So it will make the natural, fertilizers property.
Part of the recycling process, if we really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's what we become. Look at the water, evaporation of the water goes up, take different forms and all, and then drops again, rain back into the ocean, and then again the same circle begins. That's how different cycles are in all aspects of life. But when we
problem is we are using the oil from the earth. That is coming to the top, nothing going inside to refill it.
Yeah.
It will take thousands of years to create oil.
That's right.
That's a big problem. And Earth, sometimes Earth will shift here and there, plates will shift and it will create the problem. And
I mean, to be more natural is to be closer to God. I mean,
Exactly. The more imbalance we create through whatever way we use, the more problem then we create. Even this COVID virus and earthquakes and all, climate changes, and what is it? It's all is a result of imbalance in our lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, I need to jump off. So thank you all. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you so much, Pete.
Namaste, Pete. God bless you, Pete.
Bye for now.
Good
Bye.
talking to you, Pete. Bye. See you next time.
Going to be 1:30. We'll end up. So I'll update with other events, more coming up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank
Thank
you
you.
always. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Remy,
thank you.
Gabriel,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Singh, Acharya,
Namaskar.
Chris.